Hi everyone. This video is basically about how the Australian government is finding extra money to fund PNG's NRL team. I was interested in this because last week the PNG NRL team was launched and Cameron Smith and all the Australians and the PNG politicians gathered and did a big launching. And I was curious, so I decided to do a video on it to better help us understand how the Australian government is funding our NRL team. So basically, there are 5 points under this. How is it the Australian government finding extra money? So the first point is foreign aid budget. So basically, Australia allocates a significant portion of its budget to foreign aid, particularly to Pacific Island nations like Papua New Guinea. So funding for an NRL team could be drawn from this budget and framed as part of Australia's commitment to regional sport development and sports diplomacy. So that's one way the Australian government is finding funds through a foreign aid budget, and it's under the guise of regional development and sports diplomacy. So that's how it can be justified. The second point is they find money through partnerships with NRL and the private sector in Australia. So basically, the Australian government could collaborate with the NRL, corporate sponsors, and other stakeholders to share the financial burden. The NRL has expressed interest in expanding presence in the Pacific, and government support could make this possible. Through the private sector involvement, this could include sponsorship deals, broadcasting rights, and merchandise sales. And all this will help to reduce the direct cost to Australian taxpayers. So that's the second way in which the Australian government is finding the extra money to fund PNG's NRL team through its partnership with NRL and the private sector. The third way is through reallocation of existing funds. So basically, the government or the Australian government might reallocate funds from other areas, such as an existing sports grant or some other regional initiatives. So they reallocate funds that are already existing and they put it back into funding this PNG NRL team. And obviously they would have to justify this as under the name, like under it being a diplomatic issue, or it will have diplomatic benefits to Australia, so that's why they are able to justify that. The fourth way in which the Australian government is funding our NRL team is through new funding initiatives. So basically the government could introduce a new funding program specifically for sports diplomacy in the Pacific, with the PNG NRL team as the flagship project. This could be part of a broader strategy to strengthen ties with Pacific nations. And so under the guise of a sports diplomacy, they can create a completely new funding initiative, justifying it as to strengthen ties within the Pacific. So that's the fourth way. And the fifth way the government is finding funds is through bilateral agreement. So funding could be part of a bilateral agreement between Australia and PNG, where the investment in the NRL team is tied to broader economic, social, or strategic objectives. For example, Australia might provide funding in exchange for close cooperation on security, trade, or regional issues. So what this last point means is basically it's geopolitical interest. In the Pacific, PNG is strategically geopolitically placed, and China and these nations are also trying to make friends with us, to have some political hold over us. Likewise, Australia is using rugby league to strengthen its ties of diplomacy through sports, and also strengthen its ties to the Pacific as a whole
signing last
And
night.
it's
PNG NRL
through
bid
this
CEO
initiative that
Anton Hill said
uh,
building on from last
the
year's
Australian
inaugural
government
highly
is
successful
happy to
PNG
spend so
NRL
much
bid
money
Sports
because
Academy tournament in Goroka.
they will in
This
turn
year,
have
they are
a
extending the
when
program
they
to
ask
other
us if they
regions
want to
to
do
scout and
something,
recruit
will
more young talent
gladly
for their
give in to
academic
them because
pathway
of how
program.
they have
The
supported our
CEO
NRL
further
team,
stressed the
which the
importance
majority
and
of
value of the
people who
academic program,
in Papua
which
New
has
Guinea
now
enjoy this sport.
become a
So,
building block to a harness
yeah,
talent and build the
that's
foundation
basically
for
the
the future
5
of the
reasons
game going
why
forward.
the Australian government or how the Australian government is finding money to fund PNG's NRL team. That's all, and thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to this channel. God bless everyone. Bye.